Good afternoon, grunts. Welcome back. It's yours truly, Uncle Brian. Yesterday I got fresh and faded. Was in the gym this morning, got a good workout in. Uh, Life is good. Things are good on my end. How's everyone else's day going? How's everyone surviving the heat if you're in the path of the heat wave we got going on right now? Well, it's been pretty hot here in central southern Nebraska, so it's been kind of sweltering. But anyways, I came across this on social media. Now, like I said, I don't usually take anything with a grain of salt with social media, but I did find this. Um, right, let's see what I can do here. Where did I go? Where did I go? Whoops, that. So, let's see. So I'll try to move myself around here. Right here. Qualities of a good wife. Number one, she is intelligent. She opens her lips and oozes wisdom. One can have a hard and serious talk with her. Yeah, like that. Number two, she is emotionally stable. Yes, she may be hurt, feeling low, and going through much, but she's a master of her feelings. She remains calm and collected. Number three, she multiplies. She will turn 100 into 1,000, 1,000 into 1,000,000. She doesn't sit pretty and lazy, waiting to be done for. Number four, she loves being loved. Yes, she is not waiting to be done for things, but when you love on her and do good to her, she is receptive and appreciative. Inasmuch as she loves to give, she welcomes being served and given to. Number five, she loves good food. She will make attempts to cook the best meals and in the process feed your soul too. Six, she's fun. Though she's intelligent, she can also act silly, crack jokes, tease, laugh. She is great company. Number seven, she knows how to call for help. If she's stuck or in trouble, she knows how to ask for help. She doesn't suffer alone. Number eight, she's a reflection of God. You see her and see God. She's becoming more and more like God, loving, forgiving, graceful, strong, valued. Number nine, she is confident. Whether she is an introvert or outgoing, she has a high self esteem. Can't bring her down. She has admirable qualities. Number 10, she feeds her mind, body, and spirit. You will catch her often reading a stimulating book or novel, praying, eating the right foods, and working out. That's a good one there. Number 11, she keeps relationships. She will have strong people surrounding her, whether a best friend, a clique of girlfriends, or a bunch of close friends. She values relationships with friends and family, not just the one with her man. Okay. She values important relationships. Again, not with just you, but with close friends and family. Number 12, she understands her body. There's 19 of them here total. Disappeared again. Okay. Number 12, she understands her body. She is self-aware. She knows what type of clothes, fashion, and hair complement her body shape, size, and complexion. She looks physically good. This is falls under one of the five F's I have when it goes, for me, if I vet women, and that would be the fit part. Okay, she knows how to dress for her body type. She is aware of how she looks. She is aware of her health, and she takes charge of her health. Okay, she is she looks physically good. That's a big sexual attraction right there for men. It's how a woman looks is how sexually attracted we are to her. That's very important. Number 13, she is sexually and faithfully alive. She is not afraid to make sexual advances on her spouse. She knows how to make him touch her and desire her. She is sexually exciting. She is faithful to him and respects sex. Go. Number 14, she nurtures. She takes care and covers children, whether her own or other people's. Number 15, she is a teacher and a student. She is one to advise and correct her man with love, but also willing to learn and be corrected. Number 16, she gives great hugs. Her touch is reassuring and comforting. She leaves you feeling loved and cared for. Number 17, she is not independent, Though she is successful, professional, has her own money, and is educated, she admits she needs her man. That's one of the, this is where feminism has gone wrong. In the eyes of feminists, a woman needs a man like a fish needs a bicycle. Okay? I have known strong and independent women that do and would like to have a strong man by their side to lead them, to guide them, to mentor them, to teach them. And so I think this is great. Being a modern woman doesn't mean she ages alone in her big mansion. She needs to love and be loved. Number 18, she does not do drama. She values her peace and makes no apologies when she walks away from nonsensical matters. Yep, that's a good quality, a very good quality to have. And finally, number 19, she blesses and adds value. Everyone who encounters her is positively impacted. She oozes wisdom, uplifts you, and speaks to King in you. Wow, guys, how many women actually would have all of these qualities? Probably not very many, to be honest with you. I think it's a very nowadays that's very tough because a lot of modern women fall around the I don't need a man. I don't need a man like a fish needs a bicycle. It's just how it is today. Women just are not that interested in guys. And the reality is a lot of people don't see it, but we are currently in a sex war where it is man against women, but it's competing against each other instead of being complementary to each other, it's a competition now. So that's what I see a lot of out there in the sexual marketplace. And then from the reports I get from the field, a lot of guys are like, I don't understand. I meet these women and all they do is brag about their successes, their education, this and that, saying they're strong and independent. I don't need you, but if I want you, you should feel lucky that I have you in my life. No, that's not. It's not a good outlook to have. And so it's sad. It really is a sad reality we face anymore. And brings me to another interesting topic. And this was just something I found on social media. I thought it was interesting to share with everybody. But what I really want to talk about is a big what if. And I made a post on a Facebook group I am a member of, and see if I can pull that up here. Oh, here it is. Yeah. I'm part of a group on Facebook called Father's Rights, Custody, Child Support, and More. It's an interesting group. It's a very good group. If you're on Facebook and you're a single dad and you just want to vent or take in information, I believe this group here is a really good group for that. Again, it's Father's Rights, Custody, Child Support, and More, and I'll try to pin that down in the video description. And somebody posted on here not too long ago about there's people out there that want to change or reform the child support alimony system in the United States, which it should be really looked at and taken into consideration because the fact, when you look at the time when child support alimony were created, it was during a time where women stayed home. They were housewives, they were stay-at-home moms, they took care of the house while the husband went out to work, brought home the bacon, and she cooked the bacon. But now you fast forward 60 years later into the present time, we're still under a very aged system when it comes to divorce. So now we got women working, they're making their own money, they got their own living situation. They pretty much fend for themselves just like the men do. But yet when guys go through divorce, myself included, we are still required to pay spousal support and or child support. And so the big question I raise to all of you is, what if one day that alimony and child support was no longer on the divorce table? Meaning, your wife at 15, 20 plus years files for divorce and she consults with attorney and what have you, by the grace of God or whatever, alimony and child support are not on the table. It's not an option. It's not an option. Let's just say it's just not an option. So she sits down with her attorney. She's not happy no more. I want a divorce, and she sits down with her attorney, and the attorney's talking to her about the whole process, and advises her that a couple years ago the state of Maine, for example, decided that you're not entitled to alimony and child support anymore. It's not on the table. What happens then? And I've kind of come up with a couple different thoughts, I guess, on how that will change the marriage dynamic moving forward. And I guess a couple of things I kind of want to address, and by all means, I mean, leave your uh, thoughts in the comments. We can hash this out. Right now, and since the last probably 20, 30 years, uh, marriage is a losing proposition for men. There's no incentive for guys to marry nowadays. I mean, what's the incentive? You have a lifelong partner. Well, that's not guaranteed anymore because women have the right they have the right at any time to end that relationship. And so there's no incentive for men to get married. What is the incentive? Can anybody tell me? Um, but right now, women have all the incentive to get married because they know when they get married, once you file that marriage license application with the state, you're on the hook before you even walk down the aisle. Once you file that marriage license with your respective state, go down to the courthouse and you file that license. That right there locks you in to a state agreed contract. And a lot of guys, most guys, myself included, never knew what that was all about. I just filed a marriage license with the soon to be wife at the time. We had a date set to get married, and we walked, she walked down the aisle. We said, I do, and boom, it was, happy ever after for, well, unbeknownst to me, it had been 19 and a half years. Um, so now I got to pay her monthly child support payment, even though she has a full-time job. She's got a career. She's got her own place. She pays her own bills. She's the strong and independent woman type. You know, told me a couple years before we got divorced that she didn't need me around anymore, that she can do this on her own. And come to find out, she really can't because she still relies on my money to support our son. So, so what would happen? And like I said, a couple scenarios kind of go through my head on this topic, and one of them is, like men are not. There's no incentive for me to get married. I mean, I would assume all the risk and very little to no reward. So if you took alimony and child support off the table for divorce, that would mean women would have no incentive to get married. They're like, well, wait a minute. If I can't get spousal support or child support when I get divorced, what incentive would there for me to get married? And so you would see the rate of marriages further plummet down. I believe they would sharply plummet down even further compared to what they do now. Right now, a lot of guys are refusing to get married because there's just no what's in it for me. What's in it for me? And so if you take away the child support and the alimony, you're really taking away the woman's incentive to get married. If I can't get any spousal support payments after divorce, why would I want to get married? And then you look at the current marriages right now. So what are so if you're currently married, well now now your wife, since she's already in a marriage, she is incentivized to stay in that marriage now because it's like, well, okay, well, shit, if I can't get monthly payments, either alimony or child support, you know, you might be a wife that works part time to kind of help supplement the income, you know, and so your front office job at the local dentist office or your local doctor's office isn't going to really pay you enough to support yourself on your own. So if you're a wife in that position, now you're incentivized to stay married, which now probably at the current marriage rate right now, I believe divorces would slow way down. The uptick in divorces would slow down unless you're a woman that's got her own career. Say she works in the STEM field, for example. She's an accountant and she makes good money and she could easily still divorce her husband and still survive on her own. So I think in those scenarios, from as I think about it and been thinking about it before I start up the camera, I'm thinking, and like I said, there could be more to it. Guys, share that information with me down below and just leave a comment or something, or you can email me. I'll put my email address in there. But I think two scenarios come to play here. Women, the first one is women are not incentivized to get married because they're like, well, what's in it for me now? It's the same thing with me. What benefit do I get from marriage now? I mean, what would be my benefit now? I mean, I take on all the risk and get very little to no reward. And then she could leave me at any time. And then I'm still required to give up half my shit and pay her monthly in alimony or child support. Kind of like what I do now. I pay child support to an ex-wife. So I'm making that monthly payment to her. And so women there'd be no incentive for them to get married. And then if you're a woman that's currently married, you're now incentivized to not get divorced. So I see divorces, the rate of divorce slowing down a little bit. So yeah, I kind of find it interesting. It's like I said, and I seen that on that point made on YouTube about a week ago. I follow a couple different channels on YouTube, and that was mentioned. What would happen if divorce, or I'm sorry, if alimony and child support were no longer on a table? Divorce, what would happen? And I think those two scenarios would happen. I'm sure there's more to it. I just haven't dug that deep into it. But as I think about it, I'm like, well, I look at it from the male's perspective, and I'm thinking, well, I wouldn't, if I got, when I got divorced, I never got offered child support. I never got offered alimony for her. Of course, I make more money than she does, so that's not an option for me. But even if I made less money, you think an attorney would really say, hey, you're entitled to alimony? No, I don't think I'd be entitled to that or child support. And so for me, I'm not incentivized. There's no really benefit for me to get married. But right now, women have all the all the benefits of marriage. They benefit greatly. So you take those two things off the table, what truly happens to society? What happens moving forward? Um, I think our marriage rates plummet even faster, but our divorce rates will slow down. Because like I said, the women that are currently married now are actually incentivized to stay in that marriage because women, most women are economically disadvantaged compared to men. So if they, like I said, work a part-time front office job, they're not going to be able to survive on their own. So they're incentivized to stay married. Whereas now that front office worker could divorce her husband tomorrow, and he'd have to pay her up to about 35% of his income monthly to her. And how fair is that? Especially in today's day and age where women are supposedly equal to men. They're able to go out and work just like I'm able to go out. So really, I would like to see something change in that arena. I would really like to see alimony and child support go away. It's not an option. And another thing too that just come to mind with child support, the family courts don't promote co-parenting. It's just easier, and then of course the state gets a little cut back on child support. So they're also incentivized to break a guy over the fire for child support because the state benefits. State gets a little percentage back on that child support payment. So once you do that, now family courts are incentivized to promote co-parenting, which is something I've always wanted to do, but I don't have the opportunity to do that because my ex would soon have the monthly payment, the child support payment over co-parenting with me. So I think there'd be a substantial change, not just in the change in the women's incentive to get married, but it also would change uh, family court, how they do things differently. There isn't any money changing hands between husband and ex-wife. So I don't know. I just thought I'd share that today. I found that kind of interesting, and it really piqued my interest. And it really makes you wonder, well, what would truly happen if those two items were removed off the divorce table? Let me know what you think. Otherwise, that's all I got today, guys. Try to stay cool. And remember, I'm going to start saying this at the end of my videos. Always, and I do mean always, grunts, wear your sausage casings. That way your baby batter does not escape your body. If you don't understand what that means, I'm telling you, wear your condoms. You are in control of the birth. Make sure you are not raw dogging that girl. You are you're taking the initiative. You are protecting your seed. Because once you release your seed inside that woman, you could be on the hook for 18 to 19 years, if not longer, depending on if your kid goes to college, to where you're going to make those monthly child support payments. And rest assured, family court don't give a shit about your economic situation. They don't give a shit if you lose a job, have to move, you get disabled. Those child support payments are due every month, regardless of your situation. So think about it. Toodles.